This here, that the US dollar, just think about this as a US dollar, a US 100. All right? When you go to bed, when you go to bed, and you put this there, that don't change. When you get up in the morning, that's still that same money. Somebody feelings could change for you overnight. When you get up, your money is still the same. That don't change. So I am here to tell you, get your money up. But that's a story for another day. Get your money up. The Bible tells you that money answers all things. If you don't have money, you could fly if hot, you could fly in a place where it's cold.
Good night, everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of Passport to More on Bahamian Travel Talk. I'm your host, Diandra Deane, author, educator, and global storyteller. This is the space where we explore how travel isn't just about leisure, it's about opportunity, vision, and transformation. Every conversation is designed to inspire, empower, and educate you to see the world as a door to more. Tonight's episode is entitled Traveling for Business Opportunity. If you're joining us tonight live, drop your name in the chat and let us know what you're most interested in learning about tonight. This is your conversation too, so let's engage. Before we dive into tonight's episode of Passport to More, Bahamian Travel Talk is proudly brought to you by Hurricane Impact Windows and Doors, securing your future one window at a time. Why they stand up. They service all of the Bahamas, offering reliable protection for your home or business. They provide convenient pickup right here in Nassau for your convenience. Shipped to all family islands, making it easier than ever for Bahamians everywhere to access to the security they deserve. For peace of mind and quality you can trust, contact Hurricane Impact Windows and Doors today at 242-434-6279. Because when it comes to protecting what matters most, Hurricane Impact Windows and Doors has you covered. Now, family, let's get into tonight's conversation. And for this one, I couldn't think of anyone more fitting. Tonight, we welcome a woman whose name is synonymous with strength, vision, and enterprise. Since the early 1980s, she has been revered in her community as the boss lady. A title earned over more than 3 decades of building businesses and breaking barriers. Her story began as a teenager selling perfume throughout the Family Islands. From those beginnings, she went on to master industries, including real estate, auto sales, textiles, footwear, and building supplies. She is a debt-free, yes, I said it, debt-free real estate developer, a distinction that speaks to her discipline and financial mastery. Her ventures and products have touched thousands of households across the Bahamas. While business reach has extended across Europe, Asia, North America, and the Caribbean. She is known for her sharp business instincts and practical counsel, seeking her advice in business and investment. She has also raised a legacy of entrepreneurs, with several of her children now thriving as full-time business owners. While people may know her as strictly business online and as the boss lady in the marketplace, I know her differently. I have witnessed her discipline firsthand, been mentored under her tutelage, and shaped by her example. because she's not only a distinguished guest, she is my mother. Join me in giving a world-class welcome to Mrs. Stephanie Knowles-Rolle. Good evening. Now let's check in to see what
Hi,
our
Jan.
guest is saying. Excited to hear from the business mogul. Some of you are saying they're excited to hear from the business mogul. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. Stephanie, it is such an honor to have you here tonight. After more than 4 decades in business, your story already has us inspired. And before we dive deep into your journey, we want before we dive deep into your journey, we want to start off with something a little bit light. A round of just fire questions. This is where we get to know your travel style. So we're going to jump right in. What's your favorite airline to fly with and why?
Okay. Good evening once again, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My favorite airline to fly with is actually British Airways because I'm a time person and they're always on time. I like their quality service, and it ensures you too, if you have an appointment, you can show that you're going to be there on time.
Awesome. Airbnb or hotel when you travel?
Hotel. It's always
Okay.
it's always hotel because you get to pick like a business hotel. Like you have options. You get to be around like-minded people like yourself.
Mhm.
And I like the part about the breakfast. The complimentary breakfast. Breakfast is like the most important meal of the day for me. Some people don't, but it's for me. It gets your day going well. And you go, and when you go to breakfast, you tend to meet people from different walks of life, like who have like mind, like yourself. Like people of my skin color, when they see it,
Mhm.
they'd be like curious, like, where you from? Where you from? And I'll be like, I'm from the Bahamas. They'll think you from Africa.
So what's your
Okay.
carry-on must-have? What are some things that you have to have in your carry-on?
Well, my personal items, like a small, like I always pre-park my carry-ons, always pre-park some of my ready to jump up because I'm a spontaneous. My myself,
That's
your underwears, your underwears, your socks of, you could get a jacket, especially with a hoodie because of the change of the weather. The weather is always changing. So if you like painkillers, I carry painkillers just in case if I have a headache or some tends to go wrong. Antibiotics. I always carry jogger pants, my easy shoes, which are quite comfortable, my tennis, because when you're doing business, you're gonna do a lot of walking, so you need something comfortable like your tennis. That's a
okay. So
must.
that's now. If are you a window seat, middle, or aisle seat person?
Yes. Oh, I'll sit anywhere. I just want to get on the plane. I just want to
Okay.
get on the plane. I'm always
Okay.
excited to travel, so I just want to get on the plane. Yeah.
Once you're in the plane, that's fine. So if someone gave you a free ticket today, what's your dream destination that you would go to?
Vietnam. Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay.
Yeah.
If Jeannie granted you one
Vietnam.
wish tonight, which would you choose? Would you want free international travel for a year, VIP access to every global conference, or would you like a fully funded business startup package? And I would like to also ask the guest that as well. If Jeannie granted you one wish tonight, just one, and they said, which one of these would you choose? Would you go with A, free international travel for a year? B, VIP access to every global business conference? Or C, a fully funded business startup package?
C. I will go with C. Why? Because I already have my visions. I already know what I want. So I will take the C.
You will take C. Well, our guests are saying, Danola is saying that she's going to choose A. She wants free national travel for a year. And Tanisha is saying in the chat that she wants to see. She's going to pick a fully funded business startup package. Ladies. All right. It's amazing how even your travel preferences reflect a business mindset, because you said straight off the bat, even as it relates to where you want to sit on the plane, it doesn't matter. You just want to be there. So you don't mind being even in the middle seat. I love it. So now we want to go into what was the first place you traveled to do business, and what was that experience like for you? How did it shape your mindset moving forward? So let's start with, what was the first place you traveled to do business? What was that experience like for you?
Exuma, Bahamas. My first place was Exuma, the Bahamas. That's when I was selling my perfumes. And it was a life-changing experience for me, because I actually get to see more than I anticipated when I went there to sell my perfumes. And I got more than I really bargained for, because I got tipped. Most people that bought, money was flourishing in Exuma at the time when I traveled. So money wasn't an
Was this
option.
in the
Even if people wanted to buy them, that was a good thing for me to do, to get my. This was about, the late 80s, I'll say. The late 80s. The mid 80s, I'll say. 87, 88, around there. Yeah. So that was a life-changing experience for me, because I get to make some money where I could venture into other stuff that I had in mind. So that was awesome. It was mind-blowing.
Okay,
It was
and
mind-blowing. So
how old were you at the time?
I was about 15 going on 16. 15 going on 16. Yeah, 16 going on 16, yeah. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
I already had you.
All right. So how did you get into selling perfume?
Well, when I used to I attended the L.W. Young Junior Senior High. It was that then. And I joined a commerce class teaching you about business profits and wages and stuff like that. And I always loved sales. I always had a curiosity for sales, like right now, money, I call it. And during that time, I was one of the top students at the class. And Brother Alfani, he's dead now. He's an African from Africa. He had a perfume store, Ross Corner, selling natural oils. And when he came to school, he gave them out. And when he gave them out, they smelled really nice. They were raw. And, when he gave me mines, I would take them and, I will just look at it and say, I could sell this opportunity, this opportunity. So after school, I would go to a bar, would sell like salty and stuff like that on Pioneer Road, Midway Bar. And there was a lady in there at the time by the name of Maria Store. I introduced it to her, and she loved it. And she gave me like $3 for it. Asked me when I'm gonna have more. So I told her, tomorrow. So I'll be like, I'll go back to him. I'll go back to him during lunchtime and find where we was. And I told him, I have an opportunity, how could I get more into this? And he'll be like, okay, you could come by. And he told me to come by his store. And my brother did take me there, just to see it. And so I went home to my mom and I mentioned it to her. And by saying that, she told me, said, that sounds like a good idea. And she asked me, like, exactly what I want to do moving forward. And I told her I want to do that. I want to do something to sustain myself, like you always tell me. I want to be independent. I want to be able to take care of me. And at the time, I was pregnant too. But nobody knew at this time. So this was my reasoning, my why for doing this, because I wanted my own thing to take care of my own child, to stand on my own.
All right. Wonderful.
So
and so
I got into that.
When you got your perfumes, you went to Exuma, and how was sales? What happened from there?
Oh, sales was awesome. Like I will go, like when they have events there, like when they were getting ready, like for say Ricardo, Well, they had events. I found when they have events, when they have dance and stuff like that, because everybody came out. You know, it's a small place. So when people came out, that was my opportunity to go and produce my stuff and to sell them.
And it was very lucrative.
It did
And so,
extremely well.
and so as a young woman selling perfume to the
Yes.
family islands, because it wasn't only Exuma you went to, you also went to Long Island and some other places. And so what did that CV teach you about resilience and resourcefulness?
I went to Long Island and teach me that little is much. That little is much. Little could take you a long way. Once is honest living, because you know I went from doing this to something else, actually selling coconut water and gin. You know, it took it took me places where I really didn't thought I would actually be. Like I took the plane to Exuma, then I went to Long Island by the boat. I catch a ride on the boat, and I just do what I had to do.
And so what qualities must someone develop if they want to succeed in business? What kind of qualities
Well,
must they possess?
first of all, you have to learn on margin money. You have to learn on margin money, and you have to learn to do not let the money control you. You have to be mindful of your spending, to know that your savings, business, and your emergency money, you have to do them separately, because life happens. Life happens.
All right, so that reminds us that small things often carry the seed of global confidence. And so what we want to find out is you've been in business for more than 40 years across so many industries. What was the catalyst that kept you starting new businesses again and again? Because you tried many things. I know growing up, you would sell clothes. That's the business that we grew up with, you know, when you saw, you would get up every morning and you would go and you taught us marketing at a very young age, because you would get up and you would put your car where you would be visible, and you will have your for sale sign, and people would call you to say, Miss Knowles, I want to purchase this vehicle. And so what caused you to keep starting these new businesses? How do you know when to stop and when to move on?
Okay, for me, I didn't want to, like I said, I wanted to be financially free from everything. So what I will do is that I'm a praying person. So I just wanted to better for my life. I just reminded myself like why I was in business, because I've already failed in high school. I've already failed high school, even though I had the opportunity to go back. I just wanted to make money now for me and my child, because my mother was actually my why. My mother was actually my why. I didn't want to disappoint her. I saw the hurt in her. I was supposed to actually be a nurse. I saw the hurt in her, that, you know, and every time when I saw it hurt, and I just wanted to bring her comfort, like to say, you know, mommy, I'm not going to fail you. I'm going to do my best to make you proud, because she made a lot of sacrifices for me. My why is always my mother. My mother is always my why. I use my child, me having this child coming into the world now. I didn't want to disappoint my child to say, if my child had to pick again to say, if I will pick my mommy to be my mommy in this lifetime, I always think ahead of time. I was always a place in my mind was always open. I would always want my child also to be proud of me, not only my mother. Until I didn't want to suffer. You know, my mother taught me that independence is when you give up your independence, like you surrender, like you put your place in a vulnerable place as a woman. So she taught me to, you know, to actually get my own, because the same power she always tell me, the same power you give somebody to feed you, you give them to starve you. So I didn't want to put myself in any compromising situation, being a young woman growing up, having everything together, you know. So I would more say that for me, I've I've been in situations where as I hold my head strong as a woman to say, you know, Yeah, my principle, my morals. These the things that kept me going. Say, Stephanie, you're gonna win. You're gonna be okay. Just hold firm. Just stand up to what you believe and be strong. Be strong in your mind, your feelings. Because it's
Right,
not easy being a woman. Honestly, it's not easy being a woman in business.
right. And so you started 14. The catalyst for starting that business was because you wanted to provide for your child at the time. And then so you moved on to various ventures, and then you started with you mastered the automotive business, the selling of cars. And so now you said that you continue to just try different businesses because you wanted to always please your mother. And you said that you failed in high school, but is it was because you failed because you were a smart student growing up, but it was because you didn't want to go back to school? And why was that? Why did you feel you didn't fail school? You decided not to go back. So you went to college, but you weren't a high school graduate, sorry. But did you actually fail or you just didn't want to go back? And why?
No, I would let me rephrase that. I wouldn't use the word fail. I had no interest in school. I was woman now. I have child. I might
Yeah.
still be a child at a young age, but I need to be a provider now. I need to be a provider, and I wanted to give my mother a softer life too. I see she worked really hard and made all these sacrifices for me, and I just wanted to put a smile on her face. I just wanted to put a smile on her face. So I wouldn't say failure. It's not a high school diploma. I have all the degrees and all those different stuff. I went back to Toyas. I went to Toyas typing school. I had typing 1, 2, and 3. I went to the School of Intermark. I went back to night school, but it's like something was always missing. I always wanted that. I even tried a job for 3 weeks at Cosmos Fashions. That didn't work. I made more money off of tips than actually what I made in a week. So I was like, no, this ain't for me. 3 weeks. I worked 3 weeks in my life, and that was it. And from then to now, I am who I am.
Yes. And I know you
So
often told
this is
us
this is
the
this
story.
has been a sweet journey. But
I know you always told us the stories growing up about how you your mother-in-law wanted you to have that stability. So she wanted to send you to be a nurse or was it the defense force and they lost your and so and then you often talked
yeah,
about yes, and then you often talked about you having that job at Cosmic Fashion for a week and then the owner, not speaking to you so kindly, and that was your only experience with working. So I feel as if the entrepreneur, the entrepreneurial lifestyle was always calling to you. That was always going to
yeah.
be a part of you. I don't think that
Yeah.
being an employee is ever going to be for you. And there was something that your mother told you why you said that she was your biggest catalyst, that she was your why. So could you tell us something she told you about having children and why you really pursued entrepreneurship?
Oh, she told me, you're a mom now, you're a mother now, so I advise you to seek something that you could do for your children to be there for them, like time freedom. Because she told me, like, when mothers go to work, their children be doing their own thing. So she wanted me to have that experience, to have hands-on with my children. Like, if they haven't, like, a PDA meeting, but I never miss a PDA meeting, or they have like extra stuff to do, extra activities after school, or to pick them up and stuff like that. She wanted me to be there for them hands on because I slipped through the cracks. So yeah, so she experienced that
So she
with
did.
her being
Mhm.
so now she could tell me. So her experience with me when she was making the night shift, I was doing my own thing, but so she didn't want that for me, for my children. So it's a good thing that I was humble enough to listen to her, and that turned out fine.
Wisdom. Wisdom. Yeah. So many people say they don't have the money to start to travel for business. A lot of times people say, okay, do business, do business. But sometimes money is the issue. So how did you make it work in those early days? And what's your philosophy now on managing money as an entrepreneur?
Okay, well, back then I had a brother who used to come around. My oldest brother, Tracy Styles. He used to come around, and he would, when I had you, he would come from time to time and give my mother some money, and he would say, this is some money for Stephanie. Me and my mother were very tight. She would say, Tracy left some money here for you. You could use this as to do what you have to do. So that's how I get to have my startup by actually having a relationship with my mother and telling her how I felt.
Okay. And so you would say that if a person wants to start up and they don't have the money, what will be some of your recommendations?
My recommendation to them will be get a book, write down your vision, first of all, write the vision, make it plain. Talk to somebody who you could relate to, contain to this, because that person might actually be the person to actually start the business for you. Make a sacrifice, something that you have some money for, just make a sacrifice of it and just go for it. Like don't wait, just start, because there are no perfect conditions to do anything. You just gotta do it like Nike, just do it.
I love it. And so you've attended major trade fairs, including the Canton Trade Fair in China, one of the largest in the world. Can you describe what that experience was like and what stood out to you most?
Oh, overwhelming. Like, you have to go get out a plan, and it's overwhelming. You will get shut down. You will get shut down. It's really overwhelming, because when you go in there, like, you exposed to so many things, and some of the things look really strange because we're behind. We're behind. The exposure of it all, like, being exposed. Like, I am speechless. I could say that I am speechless, because it's a big place. It's a big place with a lot of opportunities, endless opportunities. Like, you will be writing all day. It's awesome.
And I just want to elaborate on that.
I want to share.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
also want to add. I just want to add to, like, the language barrier. Like, when you go to a foreign country, like, don't stress about the language barrier. When you have that US money, they speak your language. So you don't have to stress about that. They speak your language. You don't have to stress yourself about that. That's the smallest part of it, because they're in business to make money. So they see you as an opportunity too.
Yes. And I remember, I just want to piggyback off of what you said and elaborate here, because I remember when you said you wanted to go to the Canton Trade Fair. And I'm like, Mama, you're going to go on the other side of the world? You're down with the group of Bahamians. And you didn't stop until you do that. You said, somebody told you when you were inquiring, they said, Stephanie, you are 19 hours away from success. And that's been, over 6 years ago. I can still remember us having the conversation. I said, well, Mommy, if you go in, I'm not going to let you go on the other side of the world by yourself. And so I was able to accompany you on that trip. And I just want to elaborate, share my experience when we first went to the Canton Fair. I couldn't believe something like that existed. I mean, that could wrap around Marathon Mall, I would say at least 5 times. So it was absolutely massive. And no matter how comfortable your shoes is as a Bahamian from a small island, I think that the Canton Trade Fair, nothing can prepare you for it. And one of those things that was really, really extraordinary to me. So one of the things that was extraordinary to me was the amount of business opportunities that was there. I mean, anything you could possibly think of was there. And they do it in phases so that you're able to, if you are interested in, automobiles, if you're interested in household items, whatever you're interested in, the Canton Trade Fair had. And so I remember you and I sharing the sentiments that, oh my God, this is massive. And you're right, you can absolutely be shut down. So I would agree with you when you said, have a plan if you're going to the Canton Trade Fair, because you can get overwhelmed and come back doing nothing. It happened to many persons that was on. So yes, I would also like you to elaborate on why do you think Bahamian entrepreneurs should attend trade fairs like the Canton Trade Fair or other global expos?
Exposure. The exposure, because the world is changing tremendously. Exposure. When you get exposed to things, you tend to have a more understanding of, like, you could get more life when you actually anticipate it. Like, you could have a quality of life that you actually want. Like, sometimes we sit down, like when we go on our Sunday drives, we look around and say, these big houses, like, what are these people doing these big houses? Like, how do they actually get these big houses? So now your mind is open to how they get them. They go, they educate themselves, they leave
Mm-hmm.
from a place of familiar to go to a foreign place to meet people
Yeah.
from different walks of life. They meet business partners and stuff. So you will have questions you will ask. You have to ask questions. And you can't think small thinker. I don't like small money. I like big money. So I do
Yeah,
like
you
for me, I go where I have interest. I love to ask questions too. So the exposure. You
yeah.
don't need to you could build friendships, you could build long lifetime friendship, you could build business partners. You know, you could get stuff to bring back. You could start a business actually before you reach back home, because you could buy your stuff. You could go online and you could advertise, you could ship stuff before you reach back home. And you could actually have
Uh-huh.
money coming to you before you actually reach back in the Bahamas. So it's really a good thing. The exposure part
Yeah.
of it, though, you do not know what you are not exposed to. Like when you could actually touch things, not in a book, or people show you, like you could actually touch, you could feel quality, you could feel
Yeah.
quality, and you could actually buy quality if you
Yeah.
if you are if you have the right resources.
Yeah, so for traveling for business, especially when persons, because a lot of Bahamians are very much interested in the Canton Trade Fair now. I know Tina is on and a few others were interested in that information. And some of the biggest, well, I would say their fairs includes the language barrier. I know when we were going, one of the first things I was thinking was like, do we need a translator? Like, how are we going to communicate with Chinese? You know, or persons in Thai persons, because Asia is big. You have Vietnam, you have China, you have many countries in Asia that you could take, advantage of with opportunity. But I know one of the biggest um, things that I found surprising, one of the things that I was find surprising is that, listen, money has no language, because the way those Asians know how to use their calculator. That is the only thing that we needed in order to be able to communicate with them. Travel doesn't go without challenges. So, what was your biggest challenge or failure in business travel? Maybe a deal gone wrong or money lost, and how did you turn it into lessons instead of defeat?
Okay, my biggest disappointment actually was I rented a money changer to change some money. So he gave me the money. And when I reached to the room, when I was just tallying up to pay for some stuff, I realized that the money was short by far. So I couldn't go back there because at the time they were already closed. So the next day I went back there and I told them, that, he didn't give me all of the money because we were doing changing different sets of money. So I calculated that, and I told him, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I told him that, you have this amount for me. And he's like, no, I don't have that for you. No, no, no. And I was like, listen, I came here to you and I had some money and I changed this to get that, and you didn't give me that. And he's like, no, because he's a male and I'm a female. So I had to really press for that. I was relentless with that. So I told him, you need to give me my money, because it's not fair, it's not honest. So Also
Right.
they're known for honesty, but they still do little petty things. So when he saw I was persistent and he saw that I
Mhm.
started to really like pull a little crowd, he was like, come, 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 come. So his boss came like, come, come, come. And I was like, okay, this is another start. So he actually gave me the money. So I was mindful now that, hey, I have to be mindful not to let them distract me from what I have to do. The distraction caused that. So I got my money and I was on my way. So that's the
Awesome.
only
So
little thing I had
that
going
was
on
your
out
big
there.
that was your big challenge, and
Yeah,
you were
because
lucky to.
yes, it might have been about $3,000-4,000. Yes,
Oh
that's
my
a lot of
goodness.
money there. That's a lot of money there. That's
And
like
so
seven times. So you times that by
that's when it came to.
7.
And so the problem you had there was the money exchange. You have to be vigilant with when you are exchanging monies in foreign countries, and
Yes, every yes,
vigilance.
yes.
Okay, so for the Bahamians watching right now, with the dream to start a business, doesn't know where to begin, what are the first steps they should take?
Write your vision. Write your vision. Get a book. Get a book. Like this. Every year I get this. Whether you get them or Leticia get them or get a daily planner and you write down whatever it is that you want. You write down your daily activities, and then whatever it is that you have, you start from the little that you have. Don't wait to start. There's nothing happens in any perfect conditions. Just start. Just do what you have to do, and then things will eventually work out. But you have to actually be confident in what you're doing. You don't doubt what you're doing. Like for me, I be confident in what I'm doing. If I go to do something, I don't think about failure. I don't think about doubt. I don't think about failure. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna do my best at this. So, and two, be careful who you tell your visions to. You could be high and somebody could put you to a low point that you just want to give up. So the energy that you produce.
Yes. And speaking of energy, I know that in the network marketing company that we were in, we had something that we said high energy equals high income. And so I just want you to talk a little bit about your network marketing experiences, because a lot of people, because that is a part of your story as well. You travel all around the Caribbean for business. You've trained some people, you've helped a network marketing company open up a market. A lot of persons don't know that, but you are a powerhouse in that network marketing company. You brought the fire. You brought the fire to that company, and you was instrumental in opening up the Bahamas market and making that successful. So talk to us a little bit about network marketing. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, companies, you gotta recruit, you gotta do this, you gotta do that." I don't go in them pyramid schemes, but I know being first time in business with you in network marketing, it was such an awesome opportunity. I learned a lot, I would say at least 50 to 60% of what I know in business. I was sharpened based on being in a network marketing company. So tell me a little bit about what that did for you and what that taught you in business.
Network marketing. Oh, that taught me about residual income. A lot of people don't know what residual income is.
Mhm,
But at the time, the company paid like 12 different ways. I was actually getting paid like 8, but you get to network with different people all over the globe. You
mhm,
get to connect with people. You get to make money with people who you haven't even seen. Like I
mhm,
had a team in France, in Guadeloupe, St. Martin, Bermuda, Grand Cayman, the Bahamas, the BVI, the United States of America, um, from all different walks of life, and I never even see these people. And so we had something called a back office with network marketing. With my experience, we don't have any boss, and it's not a pyramid because we outrank some of our uplines, to tell you the truth. And
Mm-hmm.
so for that, the power of that, the power of that teach me, like, you could do anything. We flew to Las Vegas for training. Dr. Miles Monroe mentored us, and
Uh-huh.
we actually gained lifetime friends. I still have some good friends, where we had traveled to St. Martin, maybe open that market up in St. Martin. And I had a chance. Now, this is my really personal experience. I had a chance to go to Anguilla. I was a guest speaker. I was a guest in Anguilla. I
Mm-hmm.
flew there by myself. And the power
Mm-hmm.
of network marketing is too problem solving. I had a
Uh-huh.
problem with a particular lady, and me and her had a misunderstanding. And I actually flew to St. Martin by myself to fix that problem. And I did. Mina became the best of friends. So problem solving is a part of network marketing too. So it was a pleasure. They roll out the red carpet for you. You get awards like I was a celebrity. We were a celebrity in the network marketing company. It's a good feeling. You get to meet millionaires. So when I get to meet these people, I realized to say, you know what? You could do it. You could do just what they're doing. And I learned that you could learn from anybody. One of the platinum presidents said that, you could learn from anybody. Always be open to change. Always have an ear open to stuff, because a lot of people think because, they up there, they arrive. You could always learn something new from anybody.
Yes, yes. And I want to also say there was a lot of trainers, a lot of international people that came to the Bahamas. And because the network marketing company that we're in, we're not talking about a marketing company that came up, one day and shuts down the next and go with all the people money. This was a legitimate network marketing company with nutritional products and reshaping wear, and it was just a huge phenomenon. And it was a pleasure to be in business. And a lot of our community, the community of people that we knew, were also in business with us, and they would have seen a huge amount of success because our monies came directly to our account. It wasn't no waiting to get your funds, and we had a house here, and we just had everything. And like I said, we were the leaders in network marketing here. You being the really force behind it, because once I told you about it, you were like, "Okay, Diandra, let's go," and we did it. And so that was an exciting time. So I'm just saying that and really honing on that because a lot of Bahamians don't know where to start in business. But I think a lot of them, a good tip would be for them as well, is to get yourself in a network marketing company. I know the taboo against it, and oh my God, it's like a word that you don't want to use. But with the network marketing companies, what happens is you have a ready packaged business. And so for our viewers watching, I see in the comments, Danola is saying so powerful, so true. Awesome tips. Leticia is saying yes, a trailblazer, right? And the thing about it is, a lot of Bahamians crave business, but they've never been exposed to business. And so I just want to piggyback on that to say that a tip as well is to get yourself in close proximity to business. If you've never known anyone that was successful in business, join a network marketing company. Do your research and try to get into a company that is reputable. They have startup packages. And if you're serious about business, no one should be starting a network marketing business with less than, I would say, $500, especially if it comes with products. That is something that you actually can glean from. So you get business practices. It's not so much about the company as much as it is to what you will glean from that. So you will attend international conferences. You will rub shoulders with people who are successful in business. Because a lot of times we'll say, okay, start a business, start a business, start a business. But in order to start, you need that exposure. So I would say to start locally, find a network marketing company, like I said, that is reputable, that actually has a product. Because it's only a scam if you didn't receive anything. But once you see you have a product in hand, you pay your money, you get that product, and you learn ways of distribution. One of the things I always take away is that there is incredible wealth in learning how to distribute products. So before you get into the investing of the thousands and doing this and doing that, get yourself in close proximity to business. So I will say that because it was and I smile when I say this because being in that company was such a remarkable experience for us. I know that you traveled a lot, but then you said you went to
Yes.
Vegas, you went to Anguilla, you went to St. Martin, and we had the conferences where we opened up those markets. And there was a trainer that came to you, and you were sitting in the back. I'll never forget that. And what did he tell you? Tell us a little bit about that story that made you just be on fire.
Yes, his name was Philip Lee Blind. I'll never forget that. We had a church, we had a meeting up in South Beach at a church, and I was the only one really dressed for success like that. So I was looking around like, am I overdressed? Am I underdressed? But I realized that I take it really serious. So I went there prepared. So he called me out and he said, hey, I said, why are you sitting there? So I was like, he say, I want you to come up to the front. He say, if you're gonna get anywhere, you can't sit to the back. Practice coming up to the front. And he gave me a little speech. Him being the everybody actually wanted to get there. So he told me some stuff. He called me on the phone. And when he told me that, he gave me a little demo. He put me up to the front. And from then, I never sit to the back. Like I was on fire from then. He opened up my mind to change. He opened up my mind, like, speak with confidence, be you. You can't be nobody else but you. I don't remember the exact all of the words, but I remember that very much. And that changed my life forever. And from then, I was on fire.
Yes. And so that's the story that I wanted you to share because a lot of times people think you don't know that your life can be transformed by just being in close proximity to being in a business environment, to be in something that is already established and you're a part of it because you're only going to learn, you learn by doing. And in companies that like network marketing, multi-level marketing, it's a way for you to get that kind of training. And in that, it was just so many opportunities to be able to speak. I know for me, I started to get confidence in training and speaking. I would train the downlines, whether it be virtually or in person. And then once I would have had, I was pregnant with Chase at the time. And once I went to have baby, that wasn't your strength, but you grew to do it. And you went over to Anguilla and you just, you were the representative from the Bahamas and you were training and mentoring for them. And we would have had downlines that spanned all over the Caribbean. I mean, I remember those months when we were trying to tally up and when it was the end of the month and it was a very, stressful time trying to balance those numbers because you had France. I don't remember her name, but she was one of our downlines in France and she had us running for our money because she so much product. And so it was really, really an amazing experience. And so that's why I wanted you to share, about that because I know persons don't know where to start sometimes. And so again, I would say, a good place to start is to join a multi-level marketing company. So I see Charlene has a question. So go ahead, Charlene. We allow you to open up your mic and ask your
I am
question.
just loving this conversation, and I'm sending some hearts.
Yes, Charlene. What is your biggest takeaway so far?
Oh, the marketing. I have been in some before, but I'm just I'm what Miss your mom just said about sitting to the front
Yes.
and being prepared and dressed for the meeting. That was quite inspiring. Thank you so much.
Yes. And thank you for joining us, Charlene. So, Stephanie, you've built businesses and spaces where women weren't always seen as leaders. How did you navigate that? And what would you say to young women stepping into business today? Because, I watch firsthand sometimes with you dealing with your various businesses. I'm like, boy, mommy, I don't know. I don't know how you do it, but you do it well. So give us, this always, that lane for women. So just give us some tips on how to navigate that.
Okay, business isn't for the weak. Success is not for the weak. You gotta be strong as a woman, especially when you have to know your way because you're gonna have some challenges. Like for me, I just people just try to drive me through the mud, especially men, because as being a woman, men feel like women don't have voices. Like we are nothing. That's what I've experienced. I'll have fellas message my phone or call me, yo, message my phone, yo, bro, blood. Like they don't notice a woman. Like they think like because of what I do, I like to do hard stuff. I don't like to do easy stuff because you have a lot of copycats around. I like to do the hard stuff. So I'll have to like try put myself like be stern. That's like, hey, listen. How may I help you, sir? Or how may I help you? So they feel like they could dominate on you because they are men. So you have to try hold your composure and know your weight. You have to know your weight because they even come like they be looking like for relationships. Like you have to be stern because they're really aggressive. And some of them will keep buying stuff from you all the time just to get close to you. And I want to let note this too. Some of them don't want to deal with other people. If I send people to them, they'll be like, no, I want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with them. So you have to be stern. You have to know your weight, honestly, because it's a lot. They cuss me out. I tell them, have a nice day. I hope you feel better or whatever. But like, thanks for inquiring. I go through a lot dealing with men. So I know a lot of women out there that go through a lot still dealing with that. I deal with that basically every single day. And I deal with women too like that too. Like they feel like the business that you have supposed to be theirs. Like how you get here? Like who and you to this business? Me and me alone. Me and me alone. I do multiple streams and I just navigate myself and just knowing who I am and what I am here to do.
And I could see first,
So,
like
yeah.
sometimes I know you answer the phone. You would say, good, whatever time of the day, whatever time of the day it is, and you would say, how may I help? And I've watched where men, especially, like you said, because they are men, they put on their authoritative voice and try to bully you. But I always admire the way that you always refer to them as sir, and you always get to the point. So do you want the item or not? Even sometimes when they get into going into their, because I don't think it's a matter of just being a woman sometimes. It's just that a lot of people, we've seen it over, parts of the world as well. We underestimate that a lot of people don't have decorum. And so being a woman in business, it makes it no easier because for you to greet somebody, hey, blood, whether you know them or not, it's just, it's something that cannot take personal sometimes. But I see that you do it with such grace because you always get to the point. And then if they don't want it, or even sometimes where they try to make a fuss over nothing, just trying to see how you're going to react. I love the way that you're like, okay, well, have a good day, and you're done with it. You don't get in that, kind of cantankerous kind of thing. You're very matter of fact, and so I admire that with you in business. And one takeaway also for the viewers watching that I have witnessed my mom use is that she would say to put on your business face. So, your business face is where, you're dealing with men, especially if you're an attractive woman, which she is. And, they would come, I could do this for you. I could get this done for you. You don't have to pay anything. I could actually, be your man. Believe it or not, ladies. Yeah. These are the type of things that I've witnessed. And so Mommy lets you know straight off the bat, she has on her business face. And what is your business face? Explain to us, what is your business face?
Oh, I don't show you my teeth. I don't show you my teeth most of the times, but I don't do night business. So I really do night business unless it's somebody I know. Most of the times during the day, I have on my shades. I have on my hater blocker. So you wouldn't really like eye contact, you wouldn't get that. So I have to be stern because, like I say, most men they think women are weak. I am not for the weak, and I am not weak. So I let you know straight up. Listen, do you want this? How might I help you? Do you need change? Whatever the case may be. And if me and you have to get into any kind of altercation, I let you know, hey, this is a business number. Do not call this if you gonna go on to anything else. I'm not doing that. I block you. I'm the queen of block. I love to block people. I block you. I don't play
Mm-hmm.
with that. And they'll find their way back through somebody else. And they sometimes they call up and say, I'm sorry, they apologize. And me and them become, have a good understanding of, okay, this is business. I understand you. I respect that. I'm sorry. So yeah.
Yes, yes. And so some of the takeaways would be to have on your business face, to be very matter of fact as a woman in business, because because we are the nurturing being, the softer vessel. Sometimes persons want to take advantage, and so I would say that those are very, very good tips. And that's not just advice; that's a blueprint on that viewers can start applying tonight if they are a woman and in business. So if you had to leave just one business principle behind, one that Bahamians could hold on to for the next 40 years, what would it be?
Be confident. Believe in yourself. Be and you don't have permission to do that. And I would say really time bring changes. You have to keep evolving. Go the change of the world. Do the things what the world actually requires. And
Mm-hmm.
you fine. Be honest. Honesty is I'll say with being honest, your character. Like do not to try and be anybody else. Be yourself. Build a good
Mm-hmm.
because people do business. People do business with who they trust and who they like most of the times. And if you can't be trustworthy, people don't want to do business with you. Be
Mm-hmm.
on time. Build a legacy for your generations to come. That's what I'm doing. I believe in legacy. Family, faith, you know, that's what I believe in. Believe, lead, win. You're here to win.
Yes.
Dominate.
That I was just going to say that. That's something
You
that you
you can't you can't go wrong with that.
Mhm. Yes. So that's something you
Dominate,
always tell us. One word. You
dominate.
anytime you do anything, no matter what venture we go in, you say, Diandra, one word, dominate. And that means leave no room for competition. So the competition, the time is they, you're
Yeah,
first.
there's
And
none.
it's amazing,
There's
amazing.
none. There's
That means you can't buy 12 things. That means if you're growing in business, you have to think big. Yes, you need to start somewhere. Yes, you have to have, that kind of those growing pains. But I always, no matter what business venture I go in, I always go with that mindset, that mommy said dominate. And so, when a person may decide that, they want to purchase 12 items, you have to think about 100 or 1,000, and you have to have faith that they're going to move. You know what I mean? You always taught us that you have to believe and what it is that you're doing. You can't have no doubt. So when you're dominating, that means that, listen, this thing is full throttle. This is not, like people say, my little hustle or my side thing. No, it has to be something that you're serious about when you're talking about moving a product. You laughed. You wanted to share something? Yeah. And so Tanisha is saying, very informative session. Just checking in with the chat. Tanisha is saying, very informative session. Yes, you never know the type of customer you will get. Honestly, you never know who's on the side that phone, or if you're delivery based. And that's another thing. Practicing safety. In the Bahamas, we do have where, a lot of people, you don't have to have a shop. The government has it where they have regulated home-based businesses. That's a popular thing. And so once you go through the necessary channels, you can run a business from home. And so a lot of those times that's either pickup or delivery. And I know we are in a community where we have lots of persons that operate with home-based businesses. And you see, you really, really get to see and experience some things when you have that kind of business model. You really don't know what kind of customer you're going to get. And all customers are not, made equal. And so but what I like about the home-based business model, before you get to open the shop, before you get to do, before you get to become an expert at anything, you have to be like a novice first, right? So that's where you learn within doing. And watching my mom, watching my sisters, watching my other family members that have built very, very successful businesses from the comfort of their homes. Yes, that is possible. I have seen where, that discipline and that steadfastness has to be something that's intertwined, within your business practices. And so I would say to anybody, especially if you are a Bahamian as well, just to piggyback off of, what you would have shared, is that you really just have to choose something and go for it. You're never going to know unless you try. Nothing beats a failure than a try. So I would say those were awesome, awesome nuggets. And if there's anything else that you would like to add, Siobhan is saying a lot of food for thought. Business exposure is needed. Business setup tips would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so what Siobhan wants to know is business setup tips. So I'll just start there with saying the first step, Siobhan, is to get a business license, and we have contacts that we'll be more than happy to share with you to get you a business license immediately. Is that you want? I think in the Bahamas, the filing is about $100. So that's the first step, right? And from you do that, you're able to, open a business account. If you want to do business locally or abroad, that's the first step. Now it varies if you want to do like food and stuff, because then you would have to go through the processing of getting the necessary what do you call those things? The regulations for health. Uh, it doesn't come to me right now. It's something about health and safety, like where you have to be deal with the proper sanitation and packaging of stuff. Just making sure you have health clearance, because they have to make sure your facility and what you're offering, is standard and of quality to be able to be able to service the general public. And so, yeah, but other than that, if it is, yes, food handling, that's for the food handlers. So other than that, it's very, very easy to get a business license, especially in the Bahamas. And so our government has done a tremendous job with giving us that opportunity. So I would say that is the first thing, get a business license so you can get that set up to be legally operating a business. And I would let Stephanie add on to what else to do from there after you would have gotten that business license. She's asking about business setup, setting up a business.
Well, first of all, setting up a business, you have to know what you actually want to do. Like, what do you want? And you have to ask yourself some questions to do business. Like, am I built for this? Be open to criticism, good days, bad days. Like, let's say you start a business, right? So you make some money, you had a good maybe couple days, and the rest of the week you don't make no money. You have to ask yourself these things, like, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? Like, you start to get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. The bad days and the good days, they're the same days, the same God, same days, because you're gonna be challenged to say, you know what? Is this something I'm sure I want to do? You're going to start doubting yourself. So do it with confidence, because sometimes the days that you don't make no money, the next days that you make money, you might make more money. You might make more money in a day than you actually make in a week. So I'm going to add to this by telling you too that you could take one business to build the next. Like, always be brainstorming, always have your mind open to the possibilities, because they are there. They are there. You mightn't, by the time you take to do some other things, just take some time to yourself. When you be to yourself, you could do much when you be to yourself. Give yourself some time, be to yourself, and just focus on you. Work on you. That's the most important part about building a business. That is your business. Work on yourself. Be strong minded. Don't give up because, like I say, you're gonna want to give up. Stay connected. The people who have like mind, like sometimes you call some people man, they like fire. Like for me, I don't get discouraged. Motivation is something I don't lack because I have motivation feels discipline is always gonna be there. That's what keeps me going. So I will say to you, you have it. I know you have what it takes. If I could do it, you could do it. Find your craft, find your passion, what you want to do. When you do something that you love, you can never lose. You even work hard, you can never lose. So, like I said, one thing helps the next. And just what?
And
By being, let me share a story with y'all before y'all go. Go ahead.
no, I just wanted to say, I know
Go ahead.
you always tell us in business, you always say to solve problems when we're looking for the next big thing or the next best thing. Your business advice to us is always to find a problem and solve it. So I would say to the viewers watching as well, make a list of 10 problems that you could solve. They may not all be in the same category. So, for example, being an educator, especially Siobhan and I are in the same profession. I think that educators underestimate that they are in such a good position for business because we see firsthand the problems. And believe it or not, we are creating solutions to the problem every day. But what do we do? As educators, if we know, a student couldn't do this and that, the next thing we do what? We create these resources, whether we pull the worksheets or whatever it is that we have. And what do? We give it to them. And in most cases, if you're a good dedicated educator, that student is going to do better. And so what we do as educators, unfortunately, is reinvent the wheel. So next year we'll go and pull that worksheet again, from somewhere, when in actuality, we should be combining the things that work for us, packaging them, and selling them because we are solving problems. And it's not about oh well, you're turning, you just want to do business. No, you're solving a problem. All right. And so we see every day the problems. And so that is something that I would say, to my educators that are watching, you are in the best seat for business because we have all of these textbooks and all of these things that was made from God was a little baby. And we, have to get ourselves in the mindset that the world has changed now, so books need updating, things need updating. You're in the position where you could actually be a change agent because you know that you have students in the front of you that's either moving from, a curriculum that was made 50 years ago. We don't live in a world, we don't live in that world anymore. And some of these practices, outdated, and so I would say to solve the problem of, bringing quality literature into, the hands of our children, also digital products. There are so many things that we've been doing in the pandemic. We've been going on. I see a lot of educators now moving, not just educators, but persons are moving more into, virtual learning and charging a fee. So sometimes business isn't always a product, because it's either you're selling a product or a service, but business is also, where you could sell your knowledge. I know some amazing people. I see them all the time giving, I call it free information on social media. You could package that in a way where, you could go ahead and package that and offer that as a business. So business doesn't always have to be a product. Sometimes it's your knowledge, and so just presenting it the proper way and, turning it into your platform could also be a means for opportunity. And then you could scale it because you could, we're on this Zoom now. We have people from all over, all over the Bahamas that are on that doesn't even live in Nassau. But having this virtual platform allows us to all be connected. So you have to take advantage of the fact that we live in a digital world now. We don't live in a world where, you had to go to get together in order to, come together and get things done. And so, yeah, that's one of the best practices. I would also say that you have at your fingertips.
I just wanted to say too, like sometimes, like in business, like for me doing business, like when I get in contact with people, like I have to be a problem solver too. Life is life end for people, so I have to be like this psychologist, to hear them out, because sometimes most of them be my best customers, and I would like to say that for starting the business part of it. Sometimes you could be in a setting. Now, this is my story. I was at a setting where this particular person have this business, what they wanted to do, and they didn't have the funds. So it's not all the time you don't have the money. Somebody could actually aid you. So they came to me and they told me that they had this business idea, and I listened to them, and they tell me they're going through a lot in life or whatever. And they asked me at the end of the conversation if I could help them out, that they would pay me double. So I told them, at the time, sometime, I don't really do this anymore, but I did that for this particular person. I helped them out and the business was successful. But I told them I don't want the money, I was glad to help you. So I don't want the money. So they still ended up compensating me like maybe a third of the money. They send the money back to me and they were very happy. I'm just saying this to say sometimes people just want to be able to do the best you, and you be in your little corner, and you'll throw a pity party for yourself, not knowing that God makes miracles every day. Have his little angels out there, his angels out there to just give you that human touch, to actually say, this is me, this is what you prayed for. So sometimes the things that you were praying for is actually tied up. Your blessings is tied up in somebody's hands. So don't be afraid to tell people how you feel, because that could be a business for both you and them. They might have the money, you might have the idea. So I just wanted to share that, don't like keep things in. Find somebody that you could actually talk to. When I say talk to, I'm talking to somebody makes sense. I'm not talking about talking to somebody would actually make sense. Because when you talk about business, you're gonna find that not much people are gonna talk to you. You're gonna find that they're gonna think you're crazy until it works. You're gonna find that when you share things, they don't like your stuff. But if you go away, they're all over your things. If you put up a plate of food, they all over that. You put up a nice house or a TV or something you buy, they all over that. But when it comes to business, this is what you get. You get zero. You get zero likes. And I've experienced that, but I don't worry about that. I don't let that, I'd advise you to read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Diandra bought that book and I read that book. That book is awesome. That book is awesome. So, like I say, you educate yourself, put time into yourself, make it all about you, even if you have to be selfish and take yourself away from the equation from everybody. And I'm talking about relationships too, because a lot of people right now in this day and age is not love. They are looking for help. They are looking for a helpmate. They are not, and I'm talking about men. They are looking for help. So you have to be mindful, as I'm talking to females, be mindful that you have to build yourself, because you could find yourself in a situation which you don't want to be in. So as a woman, I am saying this, trust me, build yourself to the best that you can, because ain't nobody coming to save you. Nobody coming to save you. I tell my daughters this all the time. Do what you have to do for you, because at the end of the day, you want to be your own rescue. You want a man do something for you what you can't do for yourself. I was taught that, I was taught to be submissive and all this stuff, but you have to be your own go-to. Okay? So I just wanted to share that.
And I think the viewers, because I'm seeing a lot of hearts and a lot of thumbs up. So I think that resonated with the ladies. And I know we have some gents on. The gents, you're quiet, you're quiet. But I think the ladies also.
Vice versa.
Sorry?
Vice versa. Vice versa. I have sons too. Vice versa. So I
Yes.
just want to share something else, a quick thought too, about the
Mm-hmm.
ladies and the. I wish I had a US dollar. Uh, but anyway, this here, that the US dollar, just think about this as a US dollar, a US 100. All right. When you go to bed, when you go to bed and you put this there, that's there. That don't change. When you get up in the morning, that's still that same money. Somebody feelings could change for you overnight. When you get up, your money is still the same. That don't change. So I am here to tell you, get your money up. But that's a story for another day. Get your money up. The Bible tells you that money answered all things. If you don't have money, you could fly. If hot, you could fly in a place where it's cold. If you don't have money, listen to me. When you have money, you are in a. When you don't have, as a male or a female, and males are the leaders. So I'm teaching my son right now that hey, listen, women like nice things. Like me, I love nice things. I'm not gonna wait on nobody to buy those for me. I love nice things. So you gotta get your money up. Money answered all things. That is written in Ecclesiastes. That's biblical. So in much things money can't answer. That money, you need that. And when you go to church, that church door is open for tithes. When you come go to the hotel, they sell it, they rent, they sell in rooms. So nobody makes no money until something gets sold. So find something to sell. Find something to sell. You go on those people's job, you die, right away. You build your business when you get off from your job. That's your job, not those people's job. Because they hire you to build their dream. So what are you gonna do to build yours? I wait for 3 weeks in my life and I never went back. That man used to cuss me every day. Just because he couldn't have his way with me. Because like I say, I put on my business face. I don't show you my teeth. My mother teach me that when you show people your teeth, you weak. So, I'll say to you, especially the women. The men, they will get it. But I advise you to actually get it. And please, get your money up. Get your money up. Because you're going to realize that your teenage years, your child and your teenage years, your 20s, your 30s, those years just roll. My mother used to tell me, pick your age. And you realize that the world has changed so much that you can't even afford to get a down payment to get a home. It's really tough now in the Bahamas. It's getting tougher. So I'd advise you when things get tough, try find a way to discipline yourself financially, cut back on some stuff and just try to do the best that you can with your life because you don't want your children asking you a question when they like my neighbor child asks her, you couldn't have me for somebody else, like you couldn't pick a better daddy for me. You don't want your child to ask you those questions when these children grow up. You gotta give your children a chance. And they're gonna ask you, they're gonna challenge you. So like I say, find a business that you like. Find your passion. A lot of people find their passion during the pandemic and they are doing well. Some of them leave their jobs. You never know what you could do until you try. Don't give up before you could try. Don't give up. Surround yourself. Some people you can't get blessed around them. You have to move away from them. God wouldn't bless you being connected to certain people because God dealing with them and he can deal with you too in the mix of them. Isolate yourself. Elevation requires separation. You have to separate yourself, But for me, I believe in God. I pray for everything that I want. People ask me, how you come up with this? How you come up with that? I'm connected with God. I have a place. Before I do anything, it's God. Before I talk to anybody on the phone, it's God. I'm not going to answer my fist, God. God is everything to me. He's my everything because he owns everything. God made this world in 6 days. He rests on the 7th. Why can't you do something with your life? We all have the same time. Like my mother told me, you all have the same 10 fingers, 10 toes. You have people have half a hand in wheelchairs. If they can do it, why can't you? These are questions you have to ask yourself. Could I do this? Could I do this? What are you going to give yourself a quality of life? I want a personal chef. That's what I want. And I'm going to get that. I have people come in and do the things what I don't want to do. That's what money does. You pay people to do things what you don't want to do. So if you have
Charlene,
any questions, you're open. I could
Charlene,
answer some questions for
yes,
you, for y'all.
Charlene is saying that she loves the show. Mom is so wise. And speaking of wisdom, I know growing up, you taught us a lot of things, and we would need a whole other talk that's not travel talk to be able to cover it. But seeing that we're in the same vein of business and, just finances, um, there's something that you do, and we were laughing about this the other day, saying that if it ain't in the envelope, well, we ain't doing it. So you have the law of the envelope. So just share with our viewers what that faith move that you use. It's putting your faith into practice. You know the scripture Habakkuk, very, very well, where you have to write the vision so it can be clean. So you use a system with the envelopes. Could share with our viewers what that is.
Okay. Let's say I have a bill. I go and I buy these envelopes. Okay. I have this bill. I write the name on it. Okay. If I have something to do with one of my grandchildren, I write the name on it. Somebody's birthday, I write the name on it. I have like 10 envelopes. Honestly, I go to the max. I have like 10 envelopes where I'm on an ASU or whatever, and I just take a little seed and I just say, you know what, today is a good day. Today isn't so much of a good day, but I'm going to move on faith. I'm going to take a dollar bill and I'm going to put it in this envelope. I'm going to put a dollar bill in all of these envelopes. And you wouldn't believe me, the money come running. And from when I realized it all, there's like overflow. Like, because I'm trusting in God with my faith. I'm trusting in God, my faith, and say, you said that I could do all things through you who strengthen me. You come here to prosper me. So all these things, I remind God of his scriptures and I let him know that, hey, you don't have me here to suffer. I'm your child. I'm your child, Lord. If you do it for others, you could do it for me. I speak from the depths of my heart to God. Yeah. So these things you have to practice. And like I say, it happens. It's been happening. It's happening right now. It's happening right now. So it's up to you what you want to do with your life. You.
Just awesome.
It's entirely up to you.
Yes, awesome.
So I would say that.
Takeaways.
Try it. Just try it.
The law of the envelope. I'm telling you, it works every time. Yes, because I think it has to do with just biblical practices, age-old practices that's been around from the beginning of time. First, you have to want it. There's so much things tied into that law of the envelope because it shows intention. There's a saying, I was to a conference one time where they said, if you don't have a plan for your money is going to have a plan for you. And so I think the law of the envelope is just basically to say, you know what, this is for that. And so naturally, my good friend Charlene, who is on, says that you can't confuse the universe. Either you want this or you don't want it. You can't, you have to know exactly what you want. And so I think that is such an awesome practice, because it ties in so much of those biblical principles and just the law of the universe. There's just certain laws that, that you practice, it has to manifest. So I think those are very awesome practices. And so, any more questions? Because we're getting ready to close out, guys. So any questions or comments that you would like to make? If anything impacted you tonight, feel free to open up your mic and maybe you want to share a takeaway that you're leaving with. Or you can type it in the chat if you want.
Stephanie, I am taking that law of the envelope with me. Diandra, I'll get Mom's number so I can let her know the feedback. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yes. The law of the envelope. Anthony is laughing. He said, the law of the envelope, oh Lord. Yes, we need to pack of envelopes, babe. We need a pack of envelopes. All right. And so Stephanie's story is proof that travel isn't just about planes and passports. It's about perspective. Bahamians may sometimes feel like we're behind, but really that means there's opportunity waiting for us. So here are 3 things she left with us tonight. Number 1, know what you want out of life. and write it down. Know what you want out of life and write it down. Step 2, find a problem to solve. Write a list of problems and solve them. Find a way to solve them because that is where you're going to get the financial breakthrough. And then number 3, take action. Take action. So after you would have done these 3 things, you are on your way to starting your new business and on the road to financial independence. So thank you again to our guest, Mrs. Stephanie Knowles-Rolle. Thank you to our sponsor, Hurricane Impact Windows and Doors, securing the Bahamas. And most of all, thank you to our audience for being part of this conversation. And remember, if life is truly what we make it, then let it be grand. Good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Passport to More, a Bahamian Travel Talk. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.